Hi, I'm Roshaan from Kainaat Kids, and this is In Your Sky. The first half of January offers so much stuff to see in the night sky, and you don't even need a telescope for that. In the evening of January 3rd, you can go outside, look just after sunset, and see the beautiful pair of Venus and the very nice, pretty, thin crescent moon. Later, the same night, if you stay up late, you can actually spot a couple of meteors in the sky, which are part of the Quadrantid Meteor Shower. The Quadrantid Meteor Shower, like all other meteor showers, happens once every year. And the night between January 3rd and 4th is the best time to see it. The meteor shower will continue for the whole night, but generally speaking, for all meteor showers, around midnight is probably the best time to look for these meteors. You can expect something like 5 to 10 meteors per hour. For our next event, you might not need to look up in the sky. You know, the Earth moves around the Sun not in a perfect circle, but in a slightly oval-shaped path. Which means that in certain times of the year, the Earth can get close to the Sun compared to other times. Well, January 4th marks the day when the Earth is closest to the Sun. Now, as we know, it's pretty chilly in the northern hemisphere of Earth because it's winter time, and it's the opposite for our Earthlings living in the southern hemisphere. So clearly, the distance to the Sun has nothing to do with seasons. Also, on the evening of January the 4th, you can go out, look at the sky around sunset and see Saturn, which looks like a faint yellow star right next to the moon. Saturn, from mid-northern latitudes, around 30 to 35 degrees, appears just above the crescent moon. Now, if you've been keeping track of this wildly bright star in the evening sky, which appears to linger in the sky for about an hour or two after sunset, that's actually planet Venus. And if you've been keeping a track of that, you might have noticed that it's getting brighter every week. Planet Venus gets brightest in the sky around January 10th. From your eyes, you can see a very bright, shimmering point of light. That's very typical of Venus. January 14th brings the moon close to Mars. You can see this pair with your naked eye just by looking up around 8 to 9 p.m. your local time, and you can see the brilliant orange-colored Mars next to the bright moon in the sky. Now, with all these planetary pairings, planets getting really close to the moon, I want you to think about the distances between them. The moon is right next to us. It's on average about 375,000 kilometers. Now that's far. But think about this. Saturn, for example, is about 1 billion kilometers from Earth. And it's 1 billion kilometers further away from the moon when you see it. So the next time you see planets pairing up with the moon, I encourage you to think about the distances involved and try to maybe imagine the three-dimensional structure of our solar system. And how amazing is it that as these planets go around the sun and they move across the night sky as seen from Earth, they can sometimes get really close to our moon. January 16th is the best night to look at Mars, the red planet, our next-door neighbor. That's when Mars reaches opposition, which means that Mars is directly opposite to the sun in the sky. And so when the sun sets, Mars rises, and when the sun rises, Mars sets. Which means that Mars is in a point in the sky which is directly opposite to the sun. And that makes sure that Mars is visible all night long. Mars will appear as a bright orange point of light, and it won't twinkle because planets, they don't seem to twinkle in the sky unlike stars. January features one of the most beautiful constellations in the night sky, one of my personal favorites, Orion. Orion can be recognized by its beautiful belt of 3 stars in the middle, along with 2 bright stars on either side of the belt. On the left side, as seen from the northern hemisphere, you can see the bright orange star Betelgeuse, and on the right, a bright white-blue star called Rygen. Orion constellation is also home to one of the closest and most beautiful star-forming regions in the night sky called the Orion Nebula, which can be easily seen through a small telescope. I hope that you can find joy in discovering the constellations, planets, and other objects in the winter night sky. Until next time, this was In Your Sky.